Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
Last night, it wasn't a question of if, but when the skies would open up. So in the fifth, Jorge Polanco took matters into his own hands with a two-run double to even things up at 4. Moments later, though, the inevitable. Heavy rains and strong winds had fans waiting for over 3 hours for the official word that baseball would resume at 11:45. But not long afterwards, another delay, this time because of the lights, or lack thereof. A malfunction on the timer cut half the stadium lights off for a 15-minute break in action. And after all that, why not some extra innings? And 2 frames later, the night would finally come to an end as Eric Hosmer drove in Cheslor Cuthbert for the big Kansas City win. So here we are at Kauffman Stadium for the second time this Saturday, and this time around, however, it's shaping up to be a perfect day for baseball as the Twins and Royals square off for Game 3. This Twins-Royals series is presented by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. I'm Audra Martin under a very blue sky, a welcoming sight compared to what we saw just last night. Now, the sad thing about the game is that the Twins had to wait 7 hours to find out a decision that they could have figured out much earlier. They were just 2 outs away from having the same outcome. But that all changed when Jorge Polanco stepped up to the plate and drove in 2 runs with a blast to right field. Now, the big picture is Jorge Polanco continues to drive in and deliver in big opportunities for the Twins. And it's that ability to see big situations and understand what he has to do from both sides of the plate that hitting coach Tom Brunansky says makes him so special. He says there's no drop-off from the right or left side as far as his ability to understand what he has to do to control the at-bat and to control the game, whether it's bunting for a single or a hit or a run like we saw last night as the weather was about to ruin this game. He knows what it takes to get the job done for his team. Brunansky says you don't see it very much from guys as young as Jorge Polanco, and that means now he has hits in 17 of his 19 games since being recalled, and he goes for 18 tonight against a red-hot Ian Kennedy. Can he get it done? We're about to find out. But next on Fox Sports North, the Royals' official roster is 25, but it's the 26th man who's been bringing them the best of luck. To the defending world champs and a fan base that has been won over by an unexpected good luck charm that many others would deem to be a nuisance. In a season of 162 games, there are going to be ups and downs, and to get out of those slumps, you have to have team efforts, the right mentality, and sometimes something special to believe in, even if that something special is an insect. Well, for the Kansas City Royals, it's a mantis, a praying mantis known as the rally mantis. Rally mantis was discovered in the Royals dugout 2 weeks ago and took a liking to outfielder Billy Burns, even sitting on his head for most of the game. Well, since then, the Royals have invented a luxurious plexiglass house for him, filled with comfy leaves and meals of crickets provided by Burns, who has been pegged the official mantis caregiver. The Royals have gone 11-2 since the discovery of Rally mantis, and so they've decided to stick with it, just like they've done in years past.
We've had certain things that were similar in the past, like a song by Fetty Wap last year. The year before was Archie Eversole, a song called We Ready. And, it's just, at the end of the day, this is a game, and you got to have fun with it. And if it takes a dang praying mantis to spark some fun, then, we'll roll with it. And we've had a blast with it. It's actually been really fun, and it's kept the boys loose.
Well, everyone in the Kansas City's Royal dugout is behind Rally mantis, and they really believe that he could be the key to getting them back to the postseason. But coming up next on Fox Sports North, Dick Bramer and Burt Blyleven will break down what else they need to do and if they really have what it takes to get there beyond the help of a green-winged creature.
All your home improvement needs. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. Tonight from Kauffman Stadium, Game 3 between the Twins and the Royals. The Twins still looking for their first win in Kansas City this year, and Hector Santiago looking for his first win in a Twins uniform. And we welcome you to Kauffman Stadium. Much better weather conditions here tonight. Dick and Burt with you for Game 3, with the Twins having a leadoff batter by the name of Brian Dozier, who's really putting up some historic numbers.
And he's done a great job against the Kansas City Royals. 6 straight games that Brian Dozier has hit a home run against the Royals. He has hit 28 home runs now, and you know what? Tom Bernansky has worked so much with Brian Dozier going the other way, but when the pitch is left middle in, Brian Dozier has not been missing it. So 28 home runs. This guy continues to find a way to hit the long ball and creating a lot of good offense for a ball club that is swinging a good bat. For Brian Dozier also, where he ranks. Now 28 home runs, he's on pace to be in some elite company. You can see it's right now pace 37 home runs. Davey Johnson, single season second baseman, all-time leader. Those guys could hit some home runs. Of course, Roger Hornsby, a great second baseman. So Brian Dozier moving up the ladder if he continues the pace he's on.
The Royals have dealt with a lot of injuries, but they're above the 500 mark because Eric Hosmer's been their healthiest player this year and now their most productive.
Well, the Royals have won 6 straight thanks to Hosmer. 2 times he has had game-winning hits, one in Detroit and then in last night's ball game, the final blow to the Twins when they lost 5-4 to the Royals in 11 innings.
And you can see Hosmer, Gordon swinging the bat well. Kendrys Morales, after a slow start, has done well. This nucleus, minus Mike Moustakas, is ready to perhaps get into the postseason for the 3rd straight year. Don't sleep on the Royals, with the Twins hoping to win a ball game here. They'd like to put together a winning road trip. They've lost the first 2 here in Kansas City, hoping that Hector Santiago can pitch them to a win here tonight. Tonight, game 3. It feels like we took this series and the 2 games playing in it and moved the series to Seattle. That's how dramatically different the weather is. Much cooler temperatures, very low humidity, and very pleasant weather conditions here, and we hope uninterrupted baseball, of course. The Menards batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier back in the lineup, trying to homer in his 8th straight start against Kansas City. Jorge Polanco batting second. Joe Mauer third. Middle of the lineup, Plouffe, Rosario, and Escobar, and then Robbie Grossman, Kurt Suzuki, and Danny Santana.
At tonight's lineup for Paul Molitor be facing Ian Kennedy. Ian Kennedy has pitched very well as of late, making his 3rd start this season against the Twins. He's 1-0, 1.80 ERA in his first 2 starts. Made his Royal debut here against the Twins back in early April, but over his last 4 starts, he's 1-0 with a 1.04 ERA. Last 26 innings, he's allowed only 3 earned runs.
Northland Ford defense for the Kansas City Royals. A Gold Glove winner in left. Future Gold Glove winner perhaps in center, Apollo Orlando. Lorenzo Cain has been moved now to right field. Cuthbert, Escobar, Colon, Hosmer, and Perez around Ian Kennedy on the mound. And Orlando back in the lineup after getting last night's game off, going through a bit of a skid at the plate. And Brian Dozier, just to be clear, he's homered in 6 straight games against the Royals, but he's homered in 7 straight starts. And he will stand in to get this game started with Polanco and Mauer also batting in the first inning. Twins with a 9-9 mark in August. Won the first 2 games of the road trip in Atlanta, have lost the last 2 here in Kansas City.
Now, Twins are facing a guy. Ian Kennedy has given up 28 home runs.
And Dozier tried to extend his string against the Royals. A swing and a miss. 1 strike. Stu Surewater behind the plate. Bill Miller, the crew chief. Todd Tishner, Brian Knight on the bases. And another swing and a miss. 0-2. Game time temperature 72 degrees. And the wind blowing as much from the northwest as it was from the south last night at the start of the game. Fouled back. Still 2 strikes.
Ian Kennedy, 31 years old, making his 5th career start against the Twins. He made 1 start as an Arizona Diamondback, 1 start as a San Diego Padre, and coming over to the Royals as a free agent, signed a 5-year contract. This is his 3rd start against the Royals, excuse me, against the Twins as a Royal.
Just off the outside corner, 1-2.
Yeah, his debut here back on April 9th against the Twins, he pitched great. 6 2/3 innings. He won that ball game 7-0.
Fly ball center field. Orlando still running in, and now he'll give way to Kane. 1 away. 1 down, and that'll bring up Polanco.
Now the wind blowing out to right field, so you got to hit it pretty good if you're a right-handed hitter out to left. Ball should carry to right. And right field right now, kind of the sun field, as Kane is out in right field in the sunshine with his hand kind of over his hat, saying, got to keep an eye on that ball.
Polanco takes down an in-ball 1. Polanco, right before the game was stopped last night, delivered a 2-run double in the 5th inning. And then the Twins didn't do much at all at the plate after play was resumed more than 3 hours later. There's a big fly ball behind second base. And Escobar gives way to Orlando, 2 down. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Joe Mauer.
Now, Joe was very hot for most of August, but as of late, he has really been struggling. Looking for his first hit here in Kansas City, where he's always hit very well.
2 hits, 8 at bats against Kennedy. Ball 1. Mauer's been struggling the last couple of games. Miguel Sano's been struggling. That's why Sano's not in the lineup tonight. Probably back in the lineup again tomorrow. Two and 0.
Kennedy making his 25th start, 46 walks in 141 innings pitched. He's a strikeout pitcher, 139 strikeouts. Less hits to innings pitched.
3 and 0. With Plouffe on deck. Down the middle of strike. We talked about
Hosmer and some of the Kansas City position players hitting. The main reason the Royals have surged, their starting and their relief pitching. It's been outstanding. Driven foul 3-2. And Kennedy's been a big part of it. And as you mentioned, his last 4 starts have been brilliant.
Former #1 pick by the Yankees. Ian Kennedy back in 2006. Pitched for the Yankees, Diamondbacks, Padres, now wearing a Royals uniform.
And Joe flips one foul to the screen.
Talked about the 28 home runs he's allowed. 20 have been solo home runs, and the other 8 2-run home runs. So he hasn't really been hurt that bad by the home run ball, other than he hasn't given up a 3-run home run or a grand slam. Jarrett Weaver has given up 30.
Liner to center, and it'll carry to Orlando. Pretty well hit ball, and a 1-2-3 first for Ian Kennedy. Twins hope to put together a winning road trip. They'll need to win tonight and tomorrow to do that. They've had 3 straight winning road trips. Here is Ned Yost, batting order, brought to you by Menards. Paulo Orlando in the leadoff spot. And then Chesler Cuthbert, Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, Kendrys Morales, Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, Alcides Escobar, and Christian Colon.
And for the 3rd time this season, second as a Minnesota Twin, Hector Santiago facing the Kansas City Royals, making his 26th start.
This is the guy that really did the first pitch fly ball to center, really did Santiago in Minnesota last weekend. Rosario waits, and on 1 pitch, Santiago gets the first out.
Yeah, the positive here for Santiago is that he's always pitched well here at Kauffman Stadium.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. You've seen Rosario in center, Santana and Grossman flank him, with Max Kepler getting a night off. Escobar getting 3rd base. Polanco, Dozier up the middle. Plouffe at first. And Kurt Suzuki doing the catching with Juan Centeno, the Iron Man, catching everything last night, both before and after the long rain delay and then the shorter light delay. Here is Cuthbert. And a strike, 1-1.
I mentioned Santiago's had good success here in 4 prior starts and also 3 relief appearances. He's 2-0 here at Kauffman Stadium with a 1.69 earned run average. It's a nice ballpark to pitch in. Good dimensions.
And a lineup that doesn't have a whole lot of power.
Right. I was going to say the power alley's 387 to left center and right center, 410 straight away.
You will appreciate the tempo with which Santiago pitches. He hasn't pitched effectively for the Twins yet, but he doesn't fool around out there. 2 quick outs.
And he picks up a strikeout like Kennedy. He is a strikeout pitcher. Santiago's 118 strikeout in 136 innings pitched. The long ball has been a problem for Hector Santiago, as it was for Kennedy, and is. 24 home runs allowed for Santiago.
As we said during his last start last weekend against the Royals, it wasn't just that Santiago had a great July, 6-0 with an ERA of 1.78. It's who he pitched against. He pretty much shut down the Red Sox for 6 innings. Had some difficulty, I guess, with the Rangers, but came back and beat the Red Sox again at the end of the month. He beat Boston twice. You do that, you're doing something right.
And there also in that month he was here at Kauffman Stadium, and he beat the Royals.
2-1
for his 9th win. I mentioned in the open or as a pregame about, you get traded a lot of times, maybe you're not going to start real well because you're learning a new organization, new friends, all that stuff, and hopefully by he's feels more comfortable in the clubhouse. And hopefully he'll get it going like he did in July.
2-2 to Kane. That's hit hard to center. And Rosario back, tracking it, and puts it away. Each starting pitcher with a 1-2-3 first inning.
Second inning, Eduardo Escobar returns the lineup today for the first time since Sunday. And earlier today, I asked Paul Molitor what he's seen from Escobar as far as staying sharp and being ready to get back into the game. And he said, I'm not going to lie to you, Audrey. He's like, it's been hard on him and it's been hard on me to have a guy like that and have to cut into his playing time a couple of times this season. Remember, it was Eduardo Nunez that kind of cut into his playing time, and now it's Jorge Polanco. But he said the thing about Eduardo Escobar is that he remains very positive. He has not let this get to him. He's been out there every day early, practicing every position and taking extra swings. And he says that is what is impressive about him. He hasn't let the disappointment get to him. We're very curious to see how he does back playing third for just the second time this season, guys.
And he'll do fine. Thank you, Audrey. I tell you what, that guy's a gamer. Not only on the field, he comes to the ballpark with the mindset that if he's not in the ball game, he's going to work and get ready if he is called upon. So, yeah, the Twins have a good one in Eduardo Escobar.
2 strikes to Plouffe, and a pop-up. Coming in is Colon. 1 down.
Everything hit in the air off of Kennedy.
And that'll bring up Eddie Rosario. Counting tonight, the Twins have 40 games left on the schedule this year. They have 49 wins. And it's not the number anyone was hoping for at the start of the year, but I think the Twins would like to have 70 or more wins, which means they've got to play a little bit better than .500 baseball. Cracked on the ground. Colon has it go under his glove, and Rosario will have a base hit.
That first ball hit on the ground, gets into right field. So Rosario continues to swing a good bat.
Our Jeep road ahead, showing you what is ahead for the Twins. One more game here tomorrow, an off day on Monday. A very quick homestand. 3 games against the Tigers, and then back on the road. Obviously, the Blue Jays are good. The Indians are good. And then a longer homestand coming up at the end of that. But again, only 10 home games in the month of August. And then September, it's lopsided the other way. Here is Escobar with Rosario at first. Up and away, ball 1.
Well, this year Kennedy as a Kansas City Royal, very good at holding on base runners. There have been 12 stolen base attempts, only 4 successful. And when you have one of the best catchers behind the plate, that helps too. Salvador Perez, great arm.
2-1. Or excuse me, 1-1. Neither team took batting practice today, of course, because of the lateness of the night last night. And I think that's one of the reasons why Miguel Sano is not in the lineup. I think given the time off that he had and how he's looked at the plate, the Twins feel he needs all the batting practice he can get. The ball hit to right center field and down for a hit. Kane had to shield his eyes. He blocks the ball, gets in front of it, fires to second, and Escobar has a single, sending Rosario to third.
And there's what Audrey was talking about with Paul Molitor. Escobar, the guy takes extra batting practice. He knows what his role is. Put it that way. That pitch kind of left up right there, and Escobar, quick swing. And you're right, Kane, you could see him out in that sunshine, kind of shield his eyes, picks up the ball and gets it back in. Rosario hustles over to third.
Big at bat now for Grossman. Twins would love to break out on top. They never had a lead in last night's game, or in Thursday night's game for that matter. Grossman bunts it in the air, and Perez makes the catch. Well, Grossman tried to put it on the ground, and with a speedy runner at third, if he'd have put it on the ground anywhere, he might have gotten Rosario in from third.
Well, kind of a safety squeeze right there. I think Perez thought twice, okay, and if I let that ball drop, throw it to second. He's kind of following Grossman to see if Grossman was hustling down the line.
You can see Grossman hesitated with the disappointment of popping it up in the air, but then he did run up the line.
And I think that's what Perez was thinking about right there.
Well, now Kurt Suzuki. That man was one of the best bunters of his era, and from the right side of the plate, you could, I think, go ahead and say Paul Molitor might have been the best right-handed bunter in the American League, and he's watched his team really struggle. Here's a drive to the right field corner. Kane with a long run, and that is just foul.
And you saw the wind, how it just kept drifting away. That ball was maybe, I'm going to say, 20 feet fair, and the wind just pushed it near that foul pole.
Just missed the foul pole. In fact, that was trying to see, I've never noticed that so much of that area is yellow, and the Twins are considering a challenge here, and if it had hit the yellow, it would have been a fair ball. That's what the Twins were looking for. We can't see it from our angle here, but as you saw on replay, that missed by maybe an inch of hitting the yellow area. 1 strike to Suzuki. And now fouled back. 2 strikes. Anyway, to continue the thought on Molitor, he was so good at what he did, and he can't, I'm sure, when his team does try to bunt, he couldn't be faulted for covering his eyes. This has just been a very bad bunting team. Two strikes. And down low.
Now you see it hit over the railing.
Yep. The one angle we showed you, it looked like it actually hit the railing. 1-2 to Suzuki. Just missed. 2-2. Rosario with a 1-out single. Escobar with a 1-out single. But then the popped up bunt. And a fly ball right center field. Kane comes in. And the Twins leave 2 aboard in the second. Surprised when he was traded to the Twins, in part because of how well he did in July with the Angels.
I see the 6-0 record in the 6 starts, 1.78 earned run average, but as a Twin, yeah, it's been a struggle.
And his first start against the Indians, then against the Astros, his most recent start against the Royals. 1-0 to Eric Hosmer, then Kendrys Morales and Salvador Perez. 2-0.
Well, in Cleveland, he made his start. He went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. He gave up 2 home runs, a 3-run home run.
Popped up
to Santana and then a solo to Kipnis.
Dozier. Polanco is the shortstop. He's playing behind the second base bag. He'll make the catch, 1 away.
Then he had that start at home against the Astros where he gave up a 2-run home run to Correa. And then his last start against Kansas City, as you mentioned, is Orlando that hit the 3-run home run.
The Twins traded major league starters, Nolasco for Santiago, but also minor league relievers. Alex Meyer, been acquired years ago by the Twins from the Nationals, and never really was able to break through into a pitching staff at the big league level that needed help, desperate for help. Well, now Meyer is in the Angel system, and he's kind of in the same situation there. The Angels are trying to bring him back after some shoulder problems as a starter, and they have him projected to making some starts in September. 1-1 to Morales. 2-1. And the Twins got a minor league pitcher as well in the swap. And a base hit for Morales. A 1-out single. And Perez will come to the plate. Join us Monday, September 5th against the Royals for Eduardo Escobar and Friends Labor Day celebration benefiting Venezuelan youth. Special ticket package includes tickets on the Budweiser roof deck, a post-game meet and greet with Eduardo Escobar and other Twins players and more. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Escobar or call 800-33-TWINS. Escobar now at third base, principally at short. He's also played some at second base and in the outfield for the Twins. Strike at the knees. Perez lifted for a pinch runner last night after a double. One and one. Perez just 3 for 18 against Santiago. Nolasco, by the way, has done okay for the Angels. Really nothing extraordinarily different than how he pitched for the Twins. 2-1 to Perez. And now 2-2. But Nolasco never had a month, the likes of which Santiago put together in July, at least for the Twins.
Nine double plays turned behind Santiago. This being his 26th start.
Not backing out of play. There are differences between Santiago and Nolasco, left-handed, right-handed, and others, but a significant difference is the fact that Santiago is not signed beyond this year. And so he, for many reasons, would love to pitch well here in his remaining starts with the Twins because nothing is guaranteed beyond this year. Popped up. See what the wind does to this. Suzuki to the screen, and it comes back to him, and he makes the catch. If you've ever caught a foul ball around a dugout area or home plate area, you'll know what Suzuki just experienced. There's so much spin that the ball might appear to be landing 5 or 6 rows back, but it'll come back onto the field of play.
Yeah, Kurt knows that right there. He went to the fence, followed it, and then made a nice catch, tumbled to the ground, but Morales stays at first base. Good concentration by Suzuki. Not always the easiest thing to do is take off that mask and all of a sudden try to find a flight of the baseball.
And here the wind was a factor as well. And now Gordon with a runner at first and 2 down. This one to short left, and the wind's going to knock this down. But Grossman's there to make the catch. On to the third, no score. CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. A pleasant night in Kansas City. No score heading to the third. Danny Santana, Brian Dozier, Jorge Polanco will hit against Ian Kennedy. Strike one. The Twins in this series 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They had 11 at bats last night and got just 3 hits.
A lot of fly ball outs
From the 2 starting pitchers. Up and away, 1-1. Twins would like to see Santana get it going, and of course the response from Santana might be, well, put me in the lineup more often and I'll start hitting better. It's been one of the issues for Santana. Regular playing time, swing and a miss. But what we've seen lately, an awful lot of strikeouts.
He's just not hitting the ball as crisp either as we've seen him in the past. Even in last night's ball game, he just didn't seem to, when he did make contact with the ground ball to short and then the fly ball to center field, just the little pop that we usually see him have with that bat.
And this is his preferred side. He's always been a better left-handed batter than right. And a lot of swings and misses. Santana got a piece of that, fouling it into Perez.
He struck out a couple times in last night's ball game, his first 2 at bats.
There's a ball lined to left, and Gordon drifts over a couple steps, 1 away. Pretty good contact for the first out of the 3rd inning. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration is now open. You can learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsportssupports.com. 1 down, and now here's Brian Dozier. Ball 1. Dozier with a fly to right his first time up. Paul, after the game last night, Paul Molitor came up with a good assessment, and he did it much more succinctly than I could, so I'll try to quote him as best I can. Regarding Dozier, he likes the expanded vector of the home runs, meaning the angle. You know, when Brian was hitting them, most of them last year, they were down the left field line and maybe to straightaway left, but now Brian is showing that he can drive the ball out to center field. Maybe even 1 or 2 he's hit to the right side of center field, so he's expanding the angle of his home runs. Fouled back.
Yeah, that home run he hit last night right over the Budweiser sign. Almost straight away center.
I think with the theory being that as Brian gets more confident that he can hit home runs to straightaway center, he might not get into as many bad habits trying to pull the ball.
Saw Bernansky right there next to near Paul Molitor. Happy birthday to Tom Bernansky.
A high fly to left. Gordon comes in a few steps. A few more steps. 2 away. Keeping in mind that he was hitting about 200 through the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, last 35 ball games. Look at that. You know, 15 home runs out of the 35 ball games, driving in some runs, great on base percentage. And he came into this year, Brian Dozier, as a .240 career hitter. So, you know, he's getting better and better as far as the average. That's one thing he wanted to really work on. I remember back in spring training, get that average up.
And now outside to Polanco.
Now you saw the curveball right there by Kennedy. Also 4-seam, 2-seam fastball, clocked as high as maybe 93. Has a little cut fastball and a changeup. For Kennedy, his 10th major league season, first with the Royals. Here tonight, making his 229th major league start. 82 wins, 77 losses. ERA just under 4.
driven to right, and Kane comes in, makes a running catch, and it's a 1-2-3 third for Ian Kennedy. They would love to see Hector Santiago give them a real solid start here tonight with all the bullpen use the first 2 games of the series.
Yeah, there has not been a ground ball out yet in this ball game. Every out is recorded on a fly ball. The only strikeout was Santiago in the first inning.
1 strike to Alcides Escobar. Escobar, then Colon, and then Orlando.
Yeah, Escobar 8 hits and 20 at bats against Santiago. Free swinger.
There's a ground ball, and it's past a diving Escobar. Alcides Escobar goes to second with a leadoff double.
Yeah, second hit for the Royals. For Escobar, his 16th double. Guy that doesn't walk much. Again, every time I see him, he usually swings at that first pitch. I was surprised he took the first pitch, but that breaking ball kind of went right into the swing. Escobar just kind of followed through with his bat and hit it right down that third baseline.
And now we'll see what Colon does here, the number 9 batter. Saw the Twins try to bunt to get the first run of the game, and it stands to reason that both teams might be a little sluggish after the lateness of the hour last night.
Yeah, looks square in the bunt.
He bunts it, and Santiago and Escobar get confused, and Colon reaches first. Santiago planted his foot, and he dug a big divot, but he and Escobar, the third baseman, each thought the other was going to make the play.
That's a ball that Escobar really has to get right there, because his responsibility, he's not going back to third. You see him come in, and a little mistake right there by Escobar.
And you can see Escobar dug a bit of a divot too as he's retreated. I don't know if they did some sod work here recently, but it took a lot of rain after they took the tarp off last night. So now first and third, and nobody out.
Yeah, it'll be a bunt single for Colon.
But again, we've seen it over the last 3.5 years. The Royals execute better than the Twins do. They get the bunt down and get the runner to third. Now here's Orlando, and he bunts it foul over the Royal dugout. Again, it was Orlando who started the game against Santiago with a triple and then scored a first inning run, and then his next time up hit a 3-run home run against Santiago. but he has been struggling as of late, to the point where Ned Yost took him out of the lineup last night. To center. And Rosario with the catch. And Escobar won't try to tag. A strike, and I mean a strike. If Suzuki had been behind the plate, that would have been at the knees. One down.
Yeah, sure, Water would have called it a strike. I thought this, when he first hit this, I thought there was a little blooper. That's why I said, oh no. But Rosario comes in quickly. And we've seen his arm. Right on the mark.
So now one down, double play in order for Cuthbert. Twins should have gotten an out on the Colon bunt. They did not. That's down the right field line into the corner. And off the wall. Santana plays the carom. One run will score, and the Royals take a 1-0 lead. That ball not unlike Suzuki's ball. The difference is Cuthbert hit his lower, and there wasn't as much push from the wind.
Yeah, Cuthbert right there with a double, an RBI double, but a very good play by Santana playing the carom. If this good ball somehow gets by Santana, Colon probably would have scored, but plays the carom and gets it back in.
It was a really nice play by Santana, who hasn't played much right field. Escobar comes in. It's 1-0, and now a big spot for Lorenzo Cain. 2 men in scoring position and only 1 out. Twins bring the infield in about halfway. Over the inside corner. Escobar's glove, but it goes to the corner. Colon scores. Cuthbert scores, and Cain's in with a 2-run double. It looked like Escobar got a piece of the ball. A rocket ticked his glove, it appeared, and went into the left field corner.
Well, there's the Twins in last night's ball game in the 5th inning that had 3 doubles, and here the Royals have their 3rd double of the inning. Just over the leaping Escobar. And it's a 3-0 lead as Cain drives in a couple runs. Now with 50 runs batted in on the year.
Still only 1 out. And Hosmer will bat. Dug out by Suzuki. The entire month of July, Santiago gave up 7 runs. And he's fallen victim to a lot of big innings in his Twins tenure, and 3 already on the board here in the 3rd. 1-1. Hosmer with a pop-up behind the second base bag, gloved by Polanco. To left center and deep. Grossman over. Makes the catch on the edge of the track. Cain trying to tag, and he will tag, moving to 3rd on the 2nd out.
Well, Hosmer gave it a ride, but again, the wind blowing in a little bit might have held it up a little bit. Grossman had to go back to the warning track to make the catch, and Cain does tag up.
Morales singled with 1 out in the second and was left at first. Popped up and into the seats, 1 strike. And a breaking ball for strike 2. Sips a fastball in.
Morales hitting .283 coming into the ballgame as a right-handed hitter, only .226 as a lefty, so he's hitting better from this side. Single in his first at bat.
On the ground, hit right to Dozier.
That's the first ground ball out.
Royals get 4 hits and 3 runs in the third. Cardinals and Pirates trying to hang in there. Maybe the Pirates will get into a wild card spot again. Our Sanford Health injury report. John Lackey is on the disabled list with some shoulder issues. Hector Rondon with right triceps. And the Cubs have the luxury of having a little cushion to protect, in this case, a couple of pitchers.
Their pitching staff has really I mean, they've got a good ball club, but their pitching staff combined earned run average to Cubs 3.13. Unbelievable.
Ned Yost will tell you the reason the Royals are emerging as maybe a threat to get into postseason play, it's because of their pitching. And what was the Angels owner Artie Moreno said today, you can't win without good pitching. Everybody at every level of this game realizes the same thing. It comes down to pitching. The Twins don't have it. That's why they've had the worst record in the league most of the year. 1-0 to Mauer. Swing and a miss. Mauer lined out to center his first time up.
You know, 162 ball games. You're going to run through stretches where their offense, you know, Twins offense has really picked it up, you know, since July. They're swinging the bat really good, but you're going to run into spells where you've got to win the 3-2, 2-1 ball games. And the Twins, they are 4-44 when the offense scores 3 runs or less.
As exciting as it was on the last road trip when we went to Cleveland and Twins pounded out all those extra base hits and Max Kepler emerged as a Rookie of the Year candidate. Fact of the matter is the Twins gave up too many runs in Cleveland. Twins won 3 of the 4 ball games, but they gave up in the 4 games 25 runs in 4 games. That's too many. 1-2 to Mauer, starting the Twins 4th. Thursday night, after the Royals had their big inning, scoring 5 runs in the 4th against Tyler Duffy, The ball lifted to left center field, and Orlando calls for it, makes the catch. Twins didn't have much of a response last night. They fell behind 3-0 and then 4-1 and ended up tying the game. So we'll see whether they can.
After the rain delay, the Twins only had one single, and that was Rosario in the 11th inning. That was it.
See the grounds crew out trying to patch things up after a soggy night last night. During the inning break, while everyone else was warming up, they were trying to patch the infield.
You use those on the golf course, don't you? Those big spikes like that to replace your divots?
My ball marks I use. The small one.
Oh,
I don't use like a pitchfork or anything like that. As I recall, the divots are supposed to be in front of the golf ball, right? Not behind it?
Yeah.
Fly ball center field.
Another fly ball out.
Orlando back. 2 down.
Twins have made 11 outs. They've all come via the air.
Eddie Rosario with a ground ball single to right, his first time up. Twins with a couple of hits, back-to-back hits, in fact, in the second inning, and they had a chance to draw first blood with first and third and only one out. And then Grossman popped up a bunt, and they haven't had a base runner since. Outside, ball one.
And that's what surprised me about Grossman trying to bunt right there. You know, he just had 2 hits off of Kennedy. He had the momentum going, and for some reason he tried to bunt for a base hit, and he's not that type of hitter. Let him, he should be swinging away there.
2-0. Escobar on deck.
Neither starter has walked anybody yet.
And on the outside corner. Big pop up. It's the tallest pop up of an evening filled with them. And a 1-2-3-4. Royal Series is presented by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Salvador Perez will lead off the fourth for Kansas City. Hector Santiago was touched for 3 runs in the third. He'll face Perez, Gordon, and Escobar in the fourth. Perez fouled out to Suzuki his first time up. Missed outside.
Yeah, last inning, Santiago threw only 15 pitches, but he faced 7 batters. So the Royals came up there and everything around the plate they swung at. 4 hits, 3 doubles.
And a strike called, 1-1.
Perez tying his shoe. Santiago, 28 years old, signed by the White Sox back in 2006. Pitched for the White Sox, the Angels, now the Twins.
High fly left field, and Grossman over. Rosario there as well. Oh my.
Whoa, a little better communication, guys.
Now someone needs to take control there.
Well, it's a center fielder that should have control, but I don't know if they were talking to each other or yelling at each other. Who has it? But very luckily right here that Rosario, it looked like Grossman was going to go for it in the last second. Rosario reached out, Grossman pulled back.
Strike 1 to Alex Gordon. Gordon with a fly ball to Grossman his first time up. One and one. 2-1. Santiago trying to be more aggressive in his strike throwing. The ball driven to right. The wind's going to take this back. Santana to the wall, and it's gone. A home run. Gordon hitting his 12th of the year, second of the series, and it's 4-0.
He had been swinging a good bat and has. That's now an 11-game hitting streak. Gordon hitting his 12th home run. And over the 10-game hitting streak, he is now 15 for 39. Gordon, that uppercut swing.
So 4-0, and another home run allowed by Santiago. Here is Escobar.
Of course, it was Gordon who hit the grand slam here on Thursday night.
Fouled back, 1 strike.
25th home run allowed by Hector Santiago.
Down the middle, a strike. Gordon now with 4 home runs this week. And a base hit for Escobar. He started all the trouble in the 3rd inning with a double, and now he hits a soft line drive over the reach of Escobar.
Yeah, you know what? He stands right on top of the plate, and that ball inside, but he just fought it off and hit it softly in the left field.
Twins welcomed one of their new acquisitions here today, Adalberto Mejia, a left-handed starting pitcher. The Twins got him from the Giants organization in the Eduardo Nunez trade. Kenny Vargas optioned down to Rochester. He wasn't getting much playing time, and in part because of that, when he was playing, he wasn't as productive as he was when he first came up. So the Twins now with 13 pitchers. Mejia was supposed to start tonight for Rochester, and he was brought up as protection in the event Santiago had a short start. Popped up, and Plouffe on the warning track makes the catch 2 away. think the Twins would like to see from Mejia. They would like to see him in the rotation up here at some point this year.
Yeah, you know, he started in Double-A in a Giants organization this year, moved quickly up to Triple-A, and he pitched well as a starter. He's made 3 starts for Rochester, pitched well.
You know, the Twins don't have much equity at all in Hector Santiago, and they're not obligated to him behind or after this season. So we'll see how the Twins play it with Mejia. He's here and available. I don't think the Twins want to use him, well, maybe for an inning just to get his feet wet up here. But the idea is, I think, for him to get some innings, plural. 1-0 to Orlando.
And again, for Mejia, it would be his major league debut,
right,
whatever he does, start or relieve.
Strike on the outside corner. Big swing and a foul, 1-2. There's Gordon, another home run. Twins have been out hit 7-2 here.
Again, the Royals have won 9 of the 11 games played so far, now scored the Twins 71-38.
Santiago's had kind of a hot and cold season. He was really good in April. A couple of wins, an ERA of 3.34, and then kind of was all over the place and had a difficult May and June, and then had a really good July, and now August isn't very good. A strikeout, but a couple of hits, including a Gordon home run, and the Royals lead 4-0.
Look at that, 25th wedding anniversary. You are hereby circled, and Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, you bring your Circle Me Bert signs, you might get circled. You might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Escobar walks up the box, takes a strike, threatening to bunt. 1 strike.
Happy 25th wedding anniversary to that couple.
Escobar, Grossman, and Suzuki in the Twins' 5th. Just 2 hits. They came consecutively in the 2nd inning with 1 out. But now the Royals lead 4-0. And a breaking ball over for strike 2.
Good curveball right there by Kennedy. Mentioned before, Kennedy over his last 4 starts, he's 1-0, 3 no decisions, but 26 innings. He last 26 coming into this ballgame, he only allowed 3 runs.
Royals are into Kennedy for quite a few more years. He signed through 2020, 4 more years after this year.
He signed a 5-year contract worth about $71 million.
1-2.
In his contract that I read, he said he has an opt-out after the 2017 season. So after next year, he's got an opt-out if he wants to. But how do you turn down $16 million a year?
Only if you think you're going to make 26.
This is a beautiful place to play, too.
2-2. And Escobar spanks another base hit. He's got 2 tonight. And this is a leadoff single in the 5th.
A good piece of hitting by Escobar.
Follow Twins Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bat to feature the Twins. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. See what Grossman can get done here. Strike on the outside corner. Grossman came up with runners at first and third, 1 down in the 2nd, and he tried to bunt Rosario in from third, maybe get a base hit himself, but he popped it up. Perez made the catch, and that was all but the end of the threat. Up high, 1-1. Grossman taking a called strike, getting in the advantage of some extra playing time here, in part because Byron Buxton was sent down. Now, Buxton's been sick the last few games, not in the starting lineup again tonight for what I think the 4th straight game. He pinch ran last night, so Buxton trying to work his way back up here to fill an outfield spot. Hasn't been playing at AAA much. Fouled away. And so with Buxton gone, Rosario getting time in center, and that opens up left field, and that's pretty much been Grossman's spot. Santana's played out there a little bit. One and two. Checked his swing. 2-2. Modest pitch count for Kennedy as he's pitching here in the 5th inning. Just 63 pitches thrown. Just off the outside edge, and it's a full count. Down 4 runs. Escobar likely not going. Suzuki on deck.
Kennedy coming into the ball game averaged about a strikeout an inning this year. Yet to have a strikeout.
(3-2) to Robbie Grossman. Now the 3-2 and a swing and a miss.
There's a strikeout.
And that'll bring up Suzuki. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by the Silver Bullet. Kansas City with a great home field record going back to the beginning of last year. Twins have struggled to win here. They're not the only ones.
Yeah, this year the Royals are 38-21 here at Kauffman Stadium. And they're 15 games under 500 on the road.
Down and away, ball one. That's what's been odd about the middle months here for the Twins. They've played better on the road than they have at home. Usually a team, when it starts to get better, figures out how to win at home before they start winning on the road.
See Hosmer right there as that sun is starting to set over left field. Tough to see. Beginning of the game, it was Kane out in right field that was shading his eyes.
Fouled away, 1-1.
As a pitcher too, you know that. So
I was going to say he probably doesn't want to throw over there.
He did one time, and that's when I noticed Hosmer had a tough time handling that throw.
One and two.
Even the umpire, Bill Miller, having a tough time.
One and two.
And a little lob over. I think Hosmer's okay now, but it's the umpire that has the sun in his eye.
And now 2-2. Perez again with a block on a pitch in the dirt.
Ball coming up, maybe a little dirt in his eye. I think Perez is all right.
Twins with 3 hits, all singles. Suzuki nearly got a big hit his first time up with 2 men aboard and 2 out. Sending it just foul down the right field line. Now 3-2. Kennedy having some issues here. He ran the count full to Grossman, pitching from the stretch to with Escobar at first. And now 3-2 to Suzuki.
Yeah, this will be the 19th pitch of the inning. Most he's needed in an inning was the first inning when he needed 14 to get 3 outs. Looking for the second out here.
On the ground, Escobar out there, double play. Kennedy gives up a leadoff single, but in the end faces just 3 men in the inning. Mountain Dew fans of the game. Twins fan. Maybe a first Twins game ever.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Look at him. Being passed around. Who's next? Give me the pacifier.
Chesler Cuthbert taking low from Hector Santiago. For that matter, Santiago's pitch count's pretty reasonable. He hasn't thrown 60 pitches. That's one of the areas the Twins wanted to see. Here's a fly to left, and Grossman back. Looks like he's got room. It's one of the areas the Twins wanted to see Santiago improve. As effective as he was with the Angels, he was typically a 5 to 6 inning pitcher, and the Twins would like to see him stretch out a little bit more, but of course, more importantly, pitch more effective innings.
Yeah, stay away from that inning he had in the third, where again he threw only 15 pitches, but he faced 7 batters and they scored, 3 runs on 4 hits. So it was boom, boom, boom.
There's the pacifier.
Yes, he's happy.
We all have pacifiers. It's just, as we get older, we find different means of, calming ourselves. 1-0.
And yours would be?
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that.
Well, no, mine? No, then what?
1-0. And now a strike. We were agitated, for instance, during the rain delay last night. My pacifier last night was the lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, but not the whole pie, only a piece.
It changes, We have a rain delay tonight. It might be something else. Kane with a 2-run double in the 3-run third.
You know what mine was last night? Sherry, our stage manager, has that box of candy.
Yeah? Got into that a little bit?
Ones. Yeah, the Almond Joy, Snickers.
See, and you had your pacifier and it calmed you down.
It did.
Fouled back.
Well, he does not get cheated when he swings that bat. Kane got the big 2-run double in the 3-run third inning. I like the way this guy has become a very, very solid player, Lorenzo Kane.
Driven foul.
He's one of these guys that's a leader of the ball club, plays almost every day. He had a little hamstring injury earlier, that reason he's not playing center over at right. Ned Yost wanted to take some of the pressure off of him. But one of these guys that small version of a Kirby Puckett type guy that likes to play the game hard. Doesn't miss too many. Kind of
little stinger in his left hand there. Well, when they first got him, they were hoping he would evolve into a Torrey Hunter type player, and I'm not sure that he hasn't taken steps in that direction.
Yeah, good example. Yeah.
Outside, 3-2.
That's a good comparison right there. For Torrey Hunter.
Very athletic, and Torrey, of course, after winning a lot of Gold Gloves in center, moved to right field. Now Kane has. We don't know whether that's a long-term or a short-term thing. Hit hard to center. Rosario won't get there, and it'll beat him to the wall. Kane has 2, and he'll hold up there. A 1-out double for Lorenzo Kane.
Well, he hit a career high 307 last year when he played in 140 ball games. Career high 16 home runs and 72 runs batted in. Came into this game hitting 284. Just dropped the barrel of the bat on that, and you see Rosario shading him a little bit toward right center. This ball to left center, all the way to the wall. And Kane gets his second double. Now it's 17 on the year.
8 hits for the Royals, and 5 of them for extra bases. 4 doubles and a home run. Hosmer with a pop to short and a fly to left.
And Suzuki going out to talk to Santiago. Quick trip to the mound by the catcher, Kurt Suzuki. I think I mentioned last night, the Royals just have gamers. I know, Mike Moustakas on a disabled list, probably might not be coming back this year with that ACL tear that he had, but you look at Escobar, Moustakas, Morales has been a great addition last year as a designated hitter. They had Billy Butler here for years.
There are so many comparisons that were made even before the Royals got to the World Series about their current group, the nucleus, and the Twins group in the early 80s, the Gaettis and Herbecks. And an important component to all of that in each case was they played together in the minor leagues and took their lumps together in the big leagues early on, and then the success they had in the minor leagues eventually followed them to the big leagues. And there are some pretty direct comparisons to what the Twins went through back then and what the Royals are going through now.
And you know what, Dick, and there aren't too many clubs that have done what the Royals did and what the Twins did in '82. And the Twins are trying to do it again here, letting some of the young, upcoming, hopefully everyday players get some at bats like the Polancos and the Rosarios
2-0
and Kepler.
Hosmer takes inside, and that gets away from Suzuki, and it should be a wild pitch in Santiago.
Yeah, Kurt looked like he wanted that ball down and away, and it ended up and in.
I think it may have hit the umpire and not Suzuki.
See where Suzuki set up, off his glove and then off the right arm of the umpire.
Well, the Twins have to bring the infield in, and it's 3-0 to Hosmer. Base hit, right center field, and Kane can walk home. It's 5-0.
Well, Hosmer had the green light, 3-0, got a fastball, picks up his 72nd run batted in. But you have to assume he's going to have the green light. He's, leading the club in runs batted in. And after the wild pitch, Kane can just walk home.
And now Kendrys Morales. Taken low, ball one.
Yeah, only reason because right there, Twins are already down by 4. Even if you walk him, you might set up a double play right here, because if you get a ground ball off of Morales, good chance you could turn a double play.
Fly ball center field, playable for Rosario. And out number 2. Nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason on FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself, weekdays at 5 p.m. Central. 3 runs for the Royals in the 3rd. They added 1 in the 4th. They've added 1 in the 5th. And now with 2 down, it'll be Salvador Perez.
And it's been another inconsistent outing for Hector Santiago in a Twins uniform. It's 4 in a row.
Down and in, ball 1.
Came into the ballgame 0-3 in his first 3 starts with an ERA at 9.46.
And Alberto Mejia warming up. I think the Twins would relish bringing him in. Here's a deep drive to left, and Perez cranks one to the wall and gone. And for the second straight start, Hector Santiago is getting pounded by the Royals.
Home run number 17 for Salvador Perez. Second home run at Santiago, and that right into the zone. Suzuki again wanting it away. That ball's right down the heart of the plate. The batting practice type fastball.
And now Gordon, who homered his last time up, ball 1. I started to say I don't think the Twins relish the idea of bringing Mejia into the middle of an inning. He's been groomed as a starter. I think Mejia is warming up to start the next inning, and I think that decision was made even before the Perez home run. 2-0 with 2 gone. And now a strike. 3-1. Deep to right field, and the wind's going to help push that one over the bullpen. 3 home runs allowed tonight by Santiago. Back-to-back home runs for the Royals. And the rout is on.
Now Paul Molitor has seen enough. All right, keep throwing the cookie right there. They're going to hit it hard, and they have.
In 2 starts against the Royals, back-to-back starts, Santiago will have gone 8 2/3 innings, given up 20 hits and 15 earned runs. He leaves with the Royals up 8-0. They brought a mantis that had been their talisman to Minnesota, and unfortunately the mantis passed away in Minnesota. They found another one in Detroit. They're taking very good care of him. I was in the clubhouse, Kansas City clubhouse, the other day, and they were feeding him fine leafed spinach, and I don't think it has as much to do with the rally mantis as it does pitches right down the middle of the plate, but they're scoring a lot of runs.
Hey, you know what? Whatever it takes for a, to get that positive thought going again, and they definitely have that here in Kansas City.
Twins called up Adalberto Mejia for today's game, hoping not to use him, but here he is with 2 outs in the 5th.
Mejia making his major league debut. I mentioned earlier he started at AA in the Giant organization, moved up to AAA, made 3 starts for the Twins down in Rochester, combined 8 wins, 5 losses.
Outside ball 1. This is his major league debut, and he's going to tend to the mound there a little bit. He stumbled a little bit on his follow through.
Yeah, scouting report on the 23-year-old. A fastball clocked at maybe 93, 94, slider, and a very good changeup.
Ground ball fielded by Escobar. And that's the 3rd out.
And Mejia wasn't sure. I don't think a lot of players weren't sure.
North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Ian Kennedy now staked to an 8-0 lead. Danny Santana takes outside ball one. Santana hit the ball hard his last time up, but he hit it right to Alex Gordon for the first out of the third inning. At the knees, 1-1.
Well, again, Kennedy, you know, over his last 4 starts, he didn't get a lot of run support. You know, they lost ball games 2-1, 3-2. Then he won 3-2, and then he won his last game 3-1. So only given up 3 runs over those 4 starts. Didn't get a lot of run support. He's got 8 runs to work with now going into the 6th inning.
1-2. And Santana strikes out, 1 down.
And Kennedy picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Back to Brian Dozier at the top of the order. Our CarSoup.com trivia question: which Twins player has the most career home runs versus Kansas City? Harmon Killebrew hit them for the Twins. Now it says Kansas City, which would include the Athletics too, right?
You would assume so.
Yeah. I mean, it could be one of those trick questions where they're trying. No, they're trying to clarify now, saying it's just the Royals.
Just the Royals.
1-1 to Dozier. So it's just since 1969 when the Royals came into existence. Came in along with the Seattle Pilots in 1969. Then the Seattle Pilots moved to Milwaukee and became the Brewers. 1-1 to Dozier. Answer still might be Harmon. 1969 he hit 49 home runs, was the league MVP. And the Twins have not had a comparable home run hitter since.
How about Justin Morneau?
Could be.
Yeah.
It's a good guess. Still going to go with Harmon, though. Chopped foul. Of course, Charlie Finley took the Athletics and ran out of town and took them to Oakland. And the Royals were granted an expansion franchise starting in 1969. We, the Bramer family, then were living in central Missouri at the time, and when they announced that the Kansas City area was going to get another major league team, there's Dozier getting a called third strike, 2 down.
Brian didn't like that.
2 down.
And Kennedy, who didn't have a strikeout for the first 4 innings, picks up his 3rd strikeout. Fastball away.
Ew.
It was high enough. It doesn't matter if it was over the plate or not.
2 down, and now Polanco. In central Missouri, the attitude was, oh yeah, big deal, kind of a yawn, because the Cardinals won the World Series in 1967 and went to the World Series again in 1968. This was very much Cardinal country all the way around Missouri.
Oh.
Polanco's hit by a pitch. He'll go to first.
Yeah, the curveball right there ended up hitting Polanco in the back foot. See, 11 hits batsman for Kennedy this year.
Polanco aboard with 2 down. That'll bring up Mauer.
I'm guessing a lot of them are pitches like that, the big curveball.
Mauer with a liner to center and a fly to center. Wasn't so much that the people in central Missouri were yawning about the Royals coming into existence, but the Cardinals were dominant with back-to-back World Series appearances. Strike one to Bauer.
They had a guy named Bob Gibson there, though, didn't
Yes, and Brock and Cepeda.
Was Steve Carlton there at that time?
He was. I think he came in right after that. He wasn't a primary part of the rotation, I don't believe, in the mid to late 60s. Fouled away, and it's 2 strikes to Mauer.
It's always been a solid organization, the Cardinals. How they build within, and they can lose some key players, but they keep plugging away. This year's been a little frustrating for them. They've had some injuries,
but yet here they are. It's been a frustrating year for them. They're 9 games above 500.
Right. You know, they're not going to catch the Cubs, but that wild card, they just get the postseason. Royals know all about that.
Bauer strikes out, and the 6th inning ends with the Royals up 8-0. Up September 22nd, Ryder Cup night at Target Field. A limited number of Ryder Cup theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Ryder Cup themed Twins cap. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Ryder Cup or call 800-33-TWINS. Mejia delivers strike one. So let's focus in on Mejia and see what he can do.
Good
with a breaking ball.
Yeah, good hard slider right there. A left-hander, doesn't look like he's straight over the top, more 3/4. Good size, 6'3", about 240.
One and two.
That was a changeup right there.
Twins traded Nunez, who went from a last place team to now a first place team in the National League West. Got a really interesting battle between those two fierce rivals, the Giants and Dodgers, for the division lead in the National League West. 2-2. Now 3-2. And the loser of the division will very likely be one of the wild card teams. Orlando on deck, and it's run to 3-2 now to Christian Colon. Oh, that hits Mejia.
Get it.
He recovers and fires. And Plouffe made a heck of a catch, but Colon beat it out. And now let's see the status of Mejia.
Yeah, it sounded like it hit his shoe. I've had balls hit up the middle like that. I know. It hit my shoe. I think he's okay. Let's listen to the sound.
That was the sound I heard when the ball hit my glove in high school. It was kind of a dull thud.
Tim Laudner could say that too.
It's a nice little play by Plouffe. We'll see if the Twins challenge it here.
Yeah, Paul's got his foot out on the field.
8-0, and they're going to take a look at it. As nice a recovery as it was for Mejia, that was a heck of a play by Plouffe when someone from about 45 feet away rifles a throw like that. There's very little time to react.
Give us a good look right here. The pick by
Yeah, he's
Plouffe.
out.
Yep, he's out. Should be. And it's not going to take very long. Here we go. He's out.
Oh, nice.
Good challenge by the Twins. And a very nice play by Mejia and Plouffe.
One down in the 6th, and that'll bring up Orlando. You can imagine the Twins, and I don't know this, but the Twins made the decision, I would guess, to bring up Mejia even before the play was resumed yesterday to get him here. And he was among the first in the clubhouse here this afternoon.
A slider right there to get ahead.
One strike.
Out of the Dominican Republic, again, 23 years old.
And a line drive to right. Orlando has his first hit, breaking a long 0 for 19 skid.
Well, Mejia, as I mentioned, from the Dominican Republic, he was the free agent draft pick signed by the Giants in 2011. Turned 23 years old on June 20th. And in the minor leagues, some good numbers, 121 strikeouts and 125 innings. 42 wins in the minor leagues, 29 losses in 95 starts, 115 games.
Outside, ball one. And another one off the other leg into center field. And the Royals have runners at first and third. One out. And Mejia appears to be okay after a glancing blow with another hot shot up the middle.
Sometimes, you know, a major league debut. Do I have a target near me? It's like it hit off the right shin area and then deflected into center field. So Cuthbert picks up his second hit.
Royals with 13 hits. There's only one out in the 6th. They are 13 for 29. One strike to Kane. To center. Rosario back, tagging is Orlando. And it'll be a sacrifice fly for Lorenzo Cain.
And Cain picking up his third run batted in.
And with the score 9-0, let's go to Audra Martin.
Well, Dick, you talked about the rally mantis a bit ago, and the thing is the Royals are taking this thing pretty seriously. It was one thing when they found the original, but it was the fact that they found a second one so quickly after the first one died that they knew it was a sign. And since the discovery of the original, the Royals have gone 11-2. Now, outfielder Billy Burns has become the designated mantis caregiver. He actually stayed up one night reading everything he needed to know about how to take care of one, and he comes to the park early to check on him. Now, he told me that they have a lifespan of about 6 6 months. So since Rally Mantis Jr. is quite a bit smaller than the original, he's hoping that he's also much younger. But he did say he's willing to take care of the young guy as long as he keeps bringing them luck, hopefully all the way up until October.
Here's Hosmer. Ball one. Those things are hot. Look at it. One and one.
Said it before, whatever it takes. Look, Bernie Carbo walked through. Didn't he carry a monkey with him?
I don't know.
Not a real monkey. It was just a, toy monkey that he carried with him for good luck.
Well, now the Angels have had the rally monkey going back to, I think, 2002 or maybe even a year or two before that. They won the World Series with it, and it's still around. Yeah. Twins get to postseason play again. The Homer Hankies will be around again, right?
Whatever it takes for that positive thought.
The rallying cry in Pittsburgh in '79 was Sister Sledge and We Are Family, right? That was a song, a good luck song that you guys had.
Yes. It helped get me a ring. We are family.
So here in Kansas City, at least for right now, the Rally Mantis. And a base hit to left. Third hit of the inning. And now Kendrys Morales. Cuthbert goes to second base.
You know what? I'm looking at Mejia, and I see a little bit of Francisco Liriano in him. If you look at his delivery, now Liriano was a little slimmer, I guess, but the way that he brings that foot up and doesn't recoil as bad as Liriano did.
You need to understand, this is the first time Neil Allen's seen this guy pitch. He wasn't in camp with the Twins, so we're all kind of watching and learning as we go. Strike one on the outside corner.
And that's kind of the way that Liriano came at his release point. Not over the top, more three-quarter, sidearm a little bit.
One and one.
Mejia, 559 minor league innings. He had 482 strikeouts, only 133 walks. So throws that ball around the plate.
Down and away, missing 2 and 1.
You tried that backdoor slider. Changeup missing right there.
3 and 1.
He may not show it, but I guarantee you his heart is pumping about 100 miles an hour, if not more. Making his major league debut, has to be nerves.
And a fastball on the outside corner. We saw Liriano throw in the mid-90s in his heyday, and then the wipeout slider. We haven't seen either one of those components yet from Mejia.
Right. But right there.
Yeah. A fastball off the plate, and they're loaded up now with 2 down.
Well, first walk for Mejia.
Yeah, and he's a starting pitcher, and so Neil Allen will come to the mound here. They need to, they hope, get Mejia through this inning, then maybe another inning or 2 here. He's given up so far just the 1 run, but 3 hits. He's retired 3 batters, and now a walk fills the bases.
Well, Neil Allen talking to him. Escobar right there to help out. Polanco. I don't know how his English is, and then we realize too Suzuki has not caught him before.
Remembering that the night before the Twins couldn't get 4 innings from their starting pitcher, so I don't know that they'll be sending any sympathy cards to the Royals in their bullpen situation.
Yeah,
but
they used 6 last night. Twins used 5.
Now Perez with the bases loaded. Strike one.
Took something off that breaking ball there.
Popped up left field into the twilight. And Polanco stays with it. Grossman was playing back by the warning track. And Polanco ends the inning. Another run for the Royals with the rally mantis.
Give me 5.
The game, and it is all Kansas City.
Yeah, 14 hits for the Royals, 3 runs in the 3rd inning off of Hector Santiago. The big blow off the bat of Lorenzo Cain with a 2-run double made it a 3-0 lead. And then in the 4th inning, it was Alex Gordon with a solo home run and made it 4-0. The 5th inning was the last inning for Santiago as they gave up 4 hits. Perez hitting a 2-run home run, and then Gordon, his 2nd home run of the ball game, followed Perez's 2-run homer. Then he added another run off of Mejia in the 6th.
Trevor Plouffe will lead off the 7th against Ian Kennedy. There's strike one. Plouffe, Rosario, and Escobar. With Kennedy sailing through 6 innings, there have been 4 innings where he has faced just 3 batters. 1-1.
87 pitches right now, 57 strikes, so good strike to ball ratio. Almost 2-1.
Popped up, coming back into the seats. Royals have scored in 4 straight innings.
Well, and this is what you want your starter to do too. You know, I mean, we just showed you the graphic that a lot of relievers used last night. 14 in the 1st, then 13, 13, 12, 19 in the 5th, 14 last inning to get 3 outs.
On the outside corner.
And there's strikeout number 5. So he didn't have a strikeout in the first 4 innings. Now he's picked up 5 strikeouts in the last 2 of the 3rd innings.
Brian Dozier didn't like the called 3rd strike on him. Plouffe didn't care for strike 3 called on him.
Paul Molitor coming out of the dugout.
And it was, looks like a couple inches off the plate. Fox Tracks brought to you by Carrier. And now Rosario, a single and a pop-up. And foul that got the ball boy alertly ducked out of the way.
And Tom Bernansky right behind him. You don't want to get hit on your birthday, Mr. Bruno.
That went right through the on-deck circle. If Escobar had been there, he'd have gotten drilled. Here's a fly ball to center. Easy play for Orlando, 2 down. And that will bring up Escobar, who has 2 of the 3 Twins hits.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my book. There's only been 1 ground ball out, and that was a double play off of Suzuki. Everything else, the 5 strikeouts, everything else has been hit in the air.
Escobar takes a strike.
Escobar with 2 of the 3 hits, singles in his first 2 at bats in the 2nd and the 5th.
Looped foul will reach the seats, 2 strikes. This is kind of what happened when Dylan G was on the mound. Just really quick innings, handful of pitches and 3 outs. Up and away, 1-2.
Well, Kennedy again making his 229th major league start. He has only 2 complete games in his career, 1 shutout, that coming in 2011 when he was with the Diamondbacks against the Phillies in Arizona.
Up high, close pitch, 2-2.
He's approaching the 100 pitch count. This will be pitch number 96.
Pop up down the left field line. Gordon near the line.
And another fly ball out.
And another 1-2-3 inning for Ian Kennedy. Greater coverage of baseball. Chris Sale with plenty of run support and 7 shutout innings, trying to pick up his first win in his last 6 starts.
He'd been struggling.
Cespedes with 2 more home runs off the disabled list, hitting the ball well. And Evan Longoria with number 28 tonight. Alex Gordon has hit home runs in his last 2 at bats, solo home runs in each case, once in the 4th, once in the 5th. Both of those were against Hector Santiago. Now Adalberto Mejia. This is inside 2-0. It'll be the bottom third of the Kansas City lineup. Gordon, Escobar, and Colon. Mejia faced 7 men, giving up a run in the 6th. And now backing out of play. Not that it matters, but I lost that ball in the twilight as it went up. Rolled just foul. 2-2. To right and deep. Back is Santana. Can't make the play, and it bounces over the wall for a ground rule double.
Yeah, that ball had some top spin on it right there. Gordon having a great night at the plate. Home run in the 4th, home run in the 5th, and right here a double.
Again, the pitch just pretty much down Main Street.
Now watch Santana out here. Goes after it hard. But the ball kind of sunk on him, got underneath him, and then bounced out for the ground rule double.
Now Escobar, a couple of hits again tonight. Royals with 15 hits. And strike one. One and one.
Back-to-back changeups missed.
3 starts for Rochester after the Twins acquired him. The first one was pretty good. Second one wasn't very good. And Paul Molitor said the third start was somewhere in between. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Called up because the Twins had to protect themselves in the event of another short start from Hector Santiago, and that's exactly what happened. Santiago taken out without completing the 5th inning. Gave up 3 runs in the 2nd, a run in the 4th, and then 4 more in the 5th. To right field, and that'll carry to Santana for the out. 1 away. Be curious what temptation there might be with Santiago really struggling with the Twins in 4 starts, and the Twins want to get a glimpse of Mejia, whether there would be any consideration given to switching the 2 roles in tonight's game.
Well, you just don't know. Like you said, Santiago's not under contract for next year. Mejia's one of these kids like Jose Barrios. You know, you got to let them get out there, get their feet wet, and see what you have.
Here is Colon. Colon hit a smash against Mejia's foot. Mejia made a nice recovery and fired a low throw to Plouffe, who made maybe even a nicer play catching the throw for the first out of the 6th inning. Pop up down the left field line. Grossman, Polanco, and Polanco can't catch it, and Grossman has the ball fall out of his glove. Polanco showed pretty good range, even getting in the vicinity of that ball. But now another run scores. We'll see if Grossman's charged with an error.
Well, remember last inning he had to go a long way to catch that ball off of Perez for the final out, and here almost hitting the same spot. Polanco goes back, and then Grossman ended up, the ball fell out of his glove, got away from him. But Polanco.
Now, they give him a double, but it should be a single and an error in my book. Another run for the Royals, and now it's 10-0.
Colon picking up an RBI, just his 10th of the year with his 2nd hit, and another double.
1-0. You think that should be a double?
That's a tough play. That's a tough play. You know, both guys are coming in. I mean, Grossman had the ball in his glove. Yeah, I give him a double.
Now to center, and Rosario back a couple of steps. Out number 2.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins LLC. You know, even if Grossman had not been able to, if he kept that ball in the glove, does Colon, you know,
doesn't score, I don't think. Or Colon stays at first. I don't think Gordon scores. And now Mejia makes the fielding play and flips to first. One more run for the Royals on another pair of extra base hits. All right, Ian Kennedy sailing along. The Twins haven't made him sweat at all here tonight. There's a belt high strike. One strike to Grossman. Suzuki and Santana will follow. Billy Burns is in left. Raul Mondesi is at short. Down and in, a ball, 1-1. Grossman first time up. Twins had a chance, believe it or not, to score the first run of the game. First and third, one out, and he popped up a bunt. The Twins have had two base runners, just one hit, since their threat in the second inning.
Now Kenny's given up only 3 singles. And the pitch count right now at 100. Most pitches he's thrown in a ball game, 116. That back here against the Boston Red Sox back in the middle of May.
Full count. Here's where the Twins want Grossman to be a lot more aggressive instead of taking all the called third strikes.
Yeah, Kennedy has not walked anybody, has 5 strikeouts.
Grossman went down swinging in the 5th. And a foul tip. JT Chagua, losing pitcher in the ball game last night, might get the 8th inning. Popped up left side. Mondesi. The outfield grass. One down. And that'll bring up Suzuki. The Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. You can choose in advance, even the day of the game. So don't plan, flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 800-33-TWINS to learn more. You can see 2 ground ball outs, both of them on the double play grounder in the 5th.
Right. That's it. Everything else in the air. There's a ground ball, but it's a base hit.
Suzuki rolls a single up the middle. Just the 4th Twins hit, and they've all been singles. That'll bring up Danny Santana. Santana with a liner to left and a swinging strikeout in the 6th.
Some action in the bullpen.
With Kennedy over 100 pitches. Brian Flynn warming up.
Flynn, yeah.
Fouled away. 16 hits for the Royals, just 4 for the Twins.
Yeah, we're talking about the fly ball outs, and maybe Santana hit that ball sharply, but most of the fly ball outs have been fly balls. They're not like line drive outs.
And Kennedy would not be the first fly ball pitcher to have some success here.
Oh, I mentioned I love pitching here. I was a fly ball pitcher, but I think it's a pitcher's ballpark.
Right. Two strikes to Santana. 2 down.
And strikeout number 6.
Strikeouts continue to mount for Danny Santana. Brian Dozier will bat. Our carsoup.com trivia question. I gotta believe it's Harmon Killebrew.
How about the rat? Gary Gaetti. Justin Morneau.
26 home runs.
Yeah.
That road trip in his rookie season, he hit one 2/3 of the way up on the scoreboard in Milwaukee, and then we came here and he one-hopped it out of the ballpark onto the players' parking lot. Strike 1 to Dozier.
Yeah, that was before they put what's out in left field and right field. Now they have done such a great job adding on to this ballpark. There used to be nothing out in left field and right field, just the fountains, nothing over them.
1-1.
Look at that out there. Great place to watch a ball game. Very nice.
On the outside corner, and Dozier shakes his head again. It's to Surewater. And mutters a few things.
Almost, well, that ball is actually closer than the one that Plouffe was called out on.
Foul back.
Now, if you're Kennedy, what you do is you go a little bit further out and give that umpire an opportunity to ring him up.
Twins have had one runner past first base.
Perez again will sit outside.
And a drive to left. Deep to the gap. Gordon is not Gordon. Excuse me. It's Burns out there to haul it in for out number 3.
Yeah, Burns and his speed made a nice catch.
I think Kansas City fans are surprised Dozier didn't hit it over the wall again. Well, thank you. The Twins will send JT Chargois out there to pitch to the Royals in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Chargois ended up getting the loss in that 11-0 ballgame. He faced 3 batters, and it was Hosmer that got the game-winning hit. Gave up a couple hits, walked a guy. Chargois making his 6th relief appearance. First run that he gave up since his recall when Trevor May was put on a disabled list back on the 10th of August of this month.
2-0. And a strike at the knees. As the Twins are looking for better command from Jose Barrios as a starting pitcher, that's exactly what they're looking for from Chargois. We have seen great movement and great velocity, and if he can harness that velocity and keep it in the strike zone. Picked off by Escobar, spins, low throw, and Plouffe can't make the play. Oh, Escobar with a nice pickoff, but then a low throw, and it should be an error on the third baseman. No.
They gave him a base hit. Wow.
Twins should have had an error, in my mind, in the 7th inning on the pop fly down the left field line, and now they give Kane a base hit here.
I mean, a good throw gets him right here. Escobar kind of double pump, but tough little one to pick. But you see a good throw gets Kane. I don't know how they could give him a hit there. Home field advantage.
Here's Hosmer. Maybe 2. Dozier. And the Twins get a double play. And for Chargois, he gets a double play. You know, we've seen it. Actually, you know, the opening base hit that started all the trouble in the 11th last night looked to me like it was a pretty good pitch that a good hitter put a good swing on. It was a sinker down and away in the mid-90s. I mean, I think Chargois is going to make an awful lot of money throwing a pitch exactly like the one he threw to start the 11th.
To Cuthbert.
Yeah.
But then he walked Kane, and then the RBI game-winning single by Hosmer.
When he fell behind Hosmer.
Right.
Down and away, ball 1 to Morales. When you have a opening 2 months, 3 months like the Twins have had, then you spend time in the second half of the year looking at Chargois, Mejia, others. And if there are bumps in the road, assuming that Chargois has a great future as a major league relief pitcher, let's get as many bumps on the road out of the way this year.
And see what you have.
Yep.
Chargois, 25 years old. John Thomas, Chargois.
1-1.
JT. He's got good movement on that fastball, like you mentioned. Number 2 pick for the Twins in 2012 out of Rice University.
Two and 1.
He started at AA, moved up to AAA.
Now outside, and Morales takes a walk. Here is Drew Butera hitting in Perez's spot. Mentioned it last night. Butera having his finest year offensively.
He had one at bat last night, flew out to right field. That in the 10th inning.
Fouled back, a strike. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball.
Yeah, good breaking ball right there.
Two strikes to Butera. That's to the right field corner, chased by Santana. And a foul ball catch will end the inning. A scoreless eighth for JT Chargois. More forearm bashes, smiles, good times for the Royals at the expense of the Minnesota Twins. They're up 10-0. Perez out of the ball game. And now Brian Flynn will try to finish off a two-pitcher shutout.
This is where the game, to me, has changed, because I thought Ian Kennedy, I mean, he was awesome here tonight. And because of 112 pitches, there was a one inning he was under duress.
No, you're right.
You know, and why you wouldn't want to go out there and get a shutout, your own shutout, not a two-man or three-man shutout. But that's where the game has changed. Unbelievable.
Polanco will lead off the ninth.
Well, Brian Flynn pitched in last night's ball game, 2/3 of an inning. Hard throwing lefty. He had a walk and a strikeout through 9 pitches, 4 first strikes.
Polanco, Mauer, and Plouffe are scheduled, but Sano's in the on-deck circle. Looks like he's going to hit for Mauer. (3-0).
Now, Flynn came in the 7th inning in yesterday's ball game, struck out Mauer, then walked Plouffe, and then got Kepler on a force out.
Three and one.
Polanco is a right-handed hitter, hitting .316. Came into the game as a left-handed hitter, hitting .314.
Polanco thought he had a walk.
I think what we see is a home plate umpire, a call-up umpire, with a pretty generous strike zone.
Fouled away.
Brian Flynn, 25 years old, started the season in AAA. Couple stints. He ended up coming up in early May, then sent back down, recalled on June 15th. Making his 23rd relief appearance.
On the ground. Mondesi to Hosmer, one away. Danny Duffy might be the best left-handed pitcher in the American League right now, and I know that's saying a lot, but he's been really, really good, and Irvin Santana has been really, really good for the Twins.
That's right. Our guy's been just as good as him. Duffy might be a little bit better, but it should be a good pitching matchup.
Talking about Duffy getting some Cy Young votes this year. He's been very, very good. Here is Sano, not in the starting lineup tonight. A chance to get an at bat for what might be a starting assignment tomorrow. Down and away, ball one. Sano missed some time because of an elbow issue, and he has had difficulty making contact since.
And Miguel Sano 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter.
One and one. Half swing, 2 and 1. On the ground, picked off by Cuthbert. 2 down. And that will bring up Trevor Plouffe. It's been a beatdown so far for the Royals. I'm talking about the season series. The Twins have won 2 games so far against the Royals.
Well, Royals looking for their 5th shutout of the year. And for the Twins, trying not to be shut out for the 3rd time.
On the ground. 3 straight losses for the Twins in Kansas City.
Well, offensively, Twins didn't do much against Ian Kennedy. He had their number tonight, and it was another bad outing for Hector Santiago.
Twins dropped below the 500 mark in August. The Royals are 14-5, and Anthony, the Royals look like a team ready to make a run at a postseason spot again this year.